I never believed in fate. Until she came back into my life. After 10 damn years. And tore everything apart. It was a regular Thursday when I saw her again. Or at least, I thought it was just a regular Thursday. Until my heart stopped. Right there. In line at Starbucks. She didn't see me at first. Of course she didn't. She was standing by the counter looking down at her phone. Same dark hair. Same way she twirled it when she was distracted. Same black leather jacket I used to steal and wear like it was mine. But it wasn't the jacket that got me. It was the voice. That laugh? It hit me like a brick wall. Like I was 20 again. Like I was back in that tiny college apartment laying next to her on the couch watching old horror movies and pretending we weren't falling in love. 10 years. 10 years of silence. 10 years of trying to forget the one person I never really got over. And now she was here. In my city. In my coffee shop. As if she belonged. I should have turned around. Walked out. Pretended I never saw her. But I didn't. I stood there, frozen, as the line moved and people passed me like I was invisible. Next, the barista called. And just as I took a step forward, she looked up. Our eyes met. And my entire body locked up. Because the way she looked at me wasn't surprise. It was guilt. Like she knew she'd see me here. Like she planned it. But let me rewind. Let me take you back to the beginning. To the summer I fell in love with Anna Harper. To the summer everything changed. I was 20. Stupid. Broke. And absolutely convinced that love was some overrated fantasy cooked up by bored poets. And then she crashed into my life. Literally. She backed into my car in a Target parking lot. I remember yelling, stepping out ready to throw hands. And then seeing her. Pink hair. Leather boots. And a half-eaten ice cream cone melting down her hand. I am so sorry, she laughed. You parked like a drunk raccoon. Not that it's an excuse. And just like that I forgot why I was mad. I was hooked. We started talking. One conversation turned into 2. Then 4 hours on a park bench. Then 7 nights in a row texting till 3 a.m. Then I kissed her under a streetlight and I swear, the world stopped spinning for a second. She was everything I didn't know I needed. Loud. Unapologetic. Messy. She challenged me. Mocked me. Drove me insane. And made me feel alive in a way no one ever had. I thought that was it. I thought she was it. But life isn't a goddamn movie. And happy endings don't come easy. We burned bright. Too bright. And then we exploded. She left. No goodbye. No note. No explanation. Just gone. And now 10 years later, she was standing in front of me like none of that ever happened. She didn't move. Neither did I. The world around us buzzed, people talking, orders being called out. But all I could hear was the blood pounding in my ears. Anna. Anna fucking Harper. After all these years. Ethan, she finally said like she wasn't sure. Like she hadn't shattered me a decade ago and walked away like I was nothing. I didn't answer. I couldn't. Wow, hey, she added, smiling nervously. It's been a while. Yeah. 10 years. 3,650 days. But who's counting? I nodded stiffly. Hey. She looked older, of course. But in that effortless, untouchable way. There were faint lines near her eyes, laugh lines, probably. She was always laughing. Still had that spark. Still had that hold on me even though I hated that she did. You live around here? She asked, like this was some innocent catch-up. Yeah, I said. I've lived here for 8 years. She winced. 8 years? Meaning if she'd wanted to find me, she could've. That hurt. I just moved here last week, she said softly. Didn't know you were here? Liar. We stood in awkward silence, the kind that's thick with everything left unsaid. And then her name was called, her drink was ready. She grabbed it like it gave her an excuse to leave. Well, I guess it was good to see you, she said, avoiding eye contact. And that was it. She turned to walk away. Again. But this time something in me snapped. I couldn't let her walk away again. Not without answers. Not without knowing why she left the way she did. Why'd you disappear? She froze. Back still turned to me. Hands still clutching that cup like a lifeline. She turned slowly, her face unreadable. Ethan, she said, and her voice cracked. I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice, I shot back. You just didn't choose me. She looked like she wanted to say something. But instead she sighed and said, this isn't the place. Then tell me where, I said. Because I've waited 10 goddamn years. She looked at me for a long time. Really looked at me. And then pulled a pen from her bag, scribbled something on the back of a napkin, and handed it to me. Tonight. 7 p.m., this address. Then she walked out. And just like the last time, she left me standing there with nothing but a piece of her in my hand. I didn't know if I should go. I paced around my apartment for hours, staring at that napkin like it was a bomb waiting to go off. Part of me wanted to throw it away, forget her, forget all of it. But the other part, the one that still remembered the sound of her laugh, the smell of her hair, the way she used to curl into me like I was home, that part needed answers. At 6:50, I got in my car. The address led me to a quiet little street on the edge of the city. A brownstone with ivy crawling up the side. I stood on the front step like a ghost from her past. My hand hovered over the doorbell for a full minute before I finally pressed it. She opened the door almost instantly, like she'd been waiting. "Hey!" she said, stepping aside. I walked in. Same scent. Vanilla and cedarwood. God, it hit me like a punch to the chest. She gestured toward the couch and we sat. Far apart. Too far. Like strangers. Then she looked at me and said, "There's something you never knew, Ethan. Something I've never told anyone." And just like that, I knew. This wasn't going to be a love story. It was going to be a confession. She didn't look at me when she said it. She stared at her hands, twisting a ring around her finger that wasn't there 10 years ago. The silence between us was heavy, thick, loaded. I could barely breathe. I was pregnant. The words shattered something in me. For a second, I didn't move, didn't think, didn't feel. I just sat there, watching her, trying to understand if I heard her right. But the look in her eyes said it all. "You were what?" I finally croaked out. She nodded, swallowed. Her voice was a whisper. "Pregnant. With your baby." My chest tightened. My pulse roared in my ears. I felt like I'd been sucker punched by the past. "I didn't know what to do," she continued. "I was 20. I had no job, no money. I was terrified. But you left," I said, my voice trembling. "You didn't even tell me. You just vanished, Anna." I know I did." Tears welled up in her eyes. "But you don't understand. My family. My mom said if I kept it, I'd be ruining my life. She told me to disappear, to protect you. Said you didn't need that kind of burden." "That wasn't her call to make," I shouted, standing up. "That was my child. That was our life." She flinched, her shoulders folding in like she was bracing for the blow I'd never deliver. And suddenly, I felt the old ache again. The part of me that used to wrap her up when she broke. The part that still loved her. God help me, even now. "I had the baby," she said. "I had her. My knees went weak, and I sat back down. She's 10 now. Her name's Ivy. Ivy." I never knew I could love a name I'd just heard. But it twisted something deep in my gut. "She doesn't know about me," I whispered. Anna shook her head slowly. "No. She thinks her dad left before she was born." I blinked at her, stunned. "So you gave her the same story you gave me?" "No," she cried. "No, Ethan. I swear, I never meant for it to happen like this. I was young, stupid. I thought I was doing the right thing. And now?" I asked, voice cracking. "Why now?" She looked up at me, eyes raw, honest. "Because I saw your face today and realized I couldn't lie anymore. Not to you, not to her, not to myself." My hands were shaking. I didn't know what to say. A part of me wanted to rage, to scream at the years I'd lost. The moments, the birthdays, the firsts. But another part, a deeper, quieter part, just kept thinking, I have a daughter. Does she look like me? I asked, tears stinging my eyes. Anna smiled, and for the first time that night it was real. "She has your eyes. And your laugh. God, Ethan, she laughs like you." I laughed bitterly. "I don't even remember what that sounds like anymore." "I want you to meet her," Anna said. "If you want to. You don't have to. But I want you to have the chance I took away." I sat there, staring at the floor. So many emotions battling in my chest I could barely keep up. Then I looked at her. At the girl I once loved. At the woman who broke me. At the mother of my child. "I want to meet her." She nodded. And for a second we just sat there. Quiet. Wrecked. Reconnected. But this was just the beginning. Because if you think the worst was over, you have no idea what was coming next. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? I had a daughter. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, or tried to imagine it. What did she look like when she was born? Did she cry when she scraped her knee? Did she like dogs? Was she scared of thunder? Had she ever asked about her dad? I missed 10 years. 10 whole years of her life. Gone. Just gone. Anna texted me the next morning. Said Ivy was at a friend's for a sleepover, but she'd be back by noon. Said I could come by around 1. Said she hadn't told Ivy anything yet. My stomach was in knots. I felt like I was walking into someone else's life. And maybe I was. At 12:47 I was parked outside Anna's place again, clutching the steering wheel like it owed me something. At 1:02 I finally got out and walked to the door. This time Anna looked calmer. Still tense, but not like last night. She opened the door with a small nod. She's inside. Watching TV? I stepped in. The house was quiet. Cozy. There were drawings taped to the fridge. A purple backpack tossed near the couch. And on that couch sat a little girl with dark brown curls and wide hazel eyes. My eyes. She looked up when I walked in. Paused. Tilted her head, curious but unafraid. Hey, Anna said gently, this is my friend Ethan. He wanted to meet you. Ivy stood up, polite. Shy. Hi. Hey there, I said, my voice catching in my throat. God, she looked so much like me. But she had Anna's smile. The way one side curled up higher than the other. Do you like cartoons? I asked. She nodded. Only the old ones. The new ones are dumb. I couldn't help but smile. I used to say the same thing. She gave me a look. You're old. Anna choked on a laugh behind her. Ivy. I held up my hands. Guilty. For the next hour we watched TV together. Ivy sat next to me. Asked questions. Offered me some of her goldfish crackers like it was a peace treaty. And every second I kept thinking, this is mine. This moment. This little girl. My daughter. But the truth still hovered in the background. Like a storm cloud. Because Ivy didn't know who I was. And I didn't know how to tell her. Eventually she ran off to her room and I turned to Anna. She's amazing, I whispered. I mean, you did that. Anna looked down, biting her lip. You helped. Even if you didn't know. Silence. I don't want to lie to her, I said finally. She deserves the truth. I know. Her voice cracked. I don't know how. What if she hates me for not telling her? She won't, I said. But she might need time. Hell, I need time. Anna looked at me and something passed between us. Not love? Not anymore. But something just as real. Respect. Regret. A shared ache that might never go away. I'll talk to her, she said softly. But I want you there when I do. Of course, I said. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Didn't know how Ivy would react. Didn't know if I'd be any good at being a dad. But for the first time in years, I felt something other than pain. I felt hope. And that scared the hell out of me. Because the higher you rise, the harder it hurts when you fall. The next day was a storm. Not outside. Inside me. I couldn't sit still. Couldn't focus. My thoughts spun like a carousel on fire. Anna had texted, we'll tell her tonight. After dinner. 7 words. 7 words that felt like a countdown to a bomb. I stood outside their door at 6:58 p.m., hands trembling. And when Anna opened it, she didn't say anything. Just nodded and stepped aside. The table was set. Ivy was already sitting, swinging her legs under the chair, humming some song I didn't recognize. She smiled when she saw me. You're back. Yeah, I said, voice catching. Told you I'd come back. We had spaghetti. Ivy talked the whole time. Told me about school, her favorite book, some series about space cats, and how she once made a volcano in the kitchen that almost set off the smoke alarm. Anna laughed. I smiled. But underneath it all, I was suffocating. When the plates were cleared and Ivy reached for dessert, Anna gently put her hand on her daughter's. Hey, baby. Can we talk for a sec? Something important. Ivy blinked. Am I in trouble? No. Nothing like that. Anna looked at me. I nodded. She took a deep breath. Ivy, you know how some kids have a dad who doesn't live with them? Ivy nodded, chewing slowly. Well, I told you your dad left before you were born. But that wasn't exactly true. Ivy froze. Her eyes narrowed. So, he was around? Anna's voice cracked. No, sweetie. He didn't know about you. I didn't tell him. The silence was instant. Heavy. Ivy's eyes flicked to me. Ivy, I said gently. Your mom and I were really young when we met. And we loved each other, but then, life happened. She didn't tell me about you. Not until now. She stared at me, eyes wide. So, you're my dad? I felt every heartbeat like a punch. Yeah, I am. She didn't speak. Didn't move. Her lips quivered. Her hands clenched in her lap. Why didn't you come for me? She whispered. Tears rushed to my eyes. Because I didn't know you existed, I said. If I had a god, Ivy, I would have been there every second. I missed everything, and I will never forgive myself for that. Anna was crying now too. Quiet, broken tears. Ivy looked at both of us, shaking her head. You lied to me. I know, Anna said softly. And I'm so sorry. Then Ivy stood up. Not crying. Not yelling. Just silent. And she walked to her room. Closed the door. We sat there in the silence she left behind. Anna wiped her face. She's strong. Like you. I laughed bitterly. That's not what I wanted to pass on. She just needs time. I nodded, but my chest was hollow. 10 years. And I'd blown it in 10 minutes. I started to stand ready to leave when her door opened again. She held something in her hand. A drawing. She walked over to me. Her face unreadable. I drew this a while ago, she said, handing it to me. It's of my imaginary dad. I used to pretend he was out there somewhere. Fighting bad guys or something. I looked at the paper. It was a stick figure with a big smile. Holding hands with a little girl. I guess it was you, she said, then paused. Are you gonna stay this time? My voice cracked. If you let me. I'll never leave again. She didn't say anything. Just leaned forward and hugged me. And I broke. Right there on the floor, with this tiny girl in my arms, I broke. Because somehow, despite all the pain, all the time lost, all the lies, she forgave me. But forgiveness isn't the end. It's just the start of a new fight. And I had no idea what was waiting around the corner. Things didn't magically fix themselves overnight. This wasn't some fairy tale reunion. It was messy, confusing, painful even, but it was real. After that night, I started coming around more. Anna invited me to dinner twice a week. Ivy didn't always talk to me, but when she did, it mattered. She'd show me her drawings, ask questions, test me. Like she was slowly pulling bricks from a wall I didn't even know I'd built. Every time she smiled at me, it hit harder. Every time she called me Ethan, a little part of me ached for the day she might say Dad. Anna and I kept things honest. Strictly about Ivy. No flirting. No illusions. But some nights when the house was quiet and Ivy was asleep, we'd sit on the porch, sip coffee, and talk like the old days. About how we fell apart. About who we became. And then, just when things felt like they were starting to settle, everything got flipped upside down. It started with a knock. It was a Wednesday night. Ivy had gone to bed early. I was still there, fixing a loose cabinet door in the kitchen when it came. 3 sharp knocks. Urgent. Anna opened the door. I heard the voice before I saw the face. Anna Harper? It was a man. Mid-40s. Wearing a Navy jacket. Not a cop. Not exactly. I'm with the Georgia Division of Child Services. We've received an anonymous tip regarding your daughter, Ivy. My blood ran cold. Anna stepped back. Excuse me. I need to ask you some questions, he said calmly. May I come in? I stepped forward. Hold on. What is this about? He looked at me briefly, noting me, but focused on Anna. There was a report filed. It mentioned an unsafe living situation. We have to investigate every claim. Anna's face went pale. That's insane. I take great care of Ivy. I'm not here to accuse you of anything, he said. But I do need to verify her well-being. Can I speak to her? No, I said. Too fast. Too aggressive. Anna touched my arm. It's okay. The guy handed over a badge, a business card, the whole deal. Official. Too official. Within minutes, Ivy was pulled from bed, blinking under the hallway light, clutching her blanket. The man crouched, his voice kind and calm, asking her about school, home, her mom. Ivy answered, confused but composed. Then he stood, nodded, and said, everything seems fine tonight. I'll file a report. But there may be a follow-up. Just routine. And he left. The door shut. Anna collapsed onto the couch. What the hell was that? I asked, pacing. Who would do that to you? She shook her head. I don't know. I don't have enemies. No one knows where I am except. She trailed off. We looked at each other. And then it hit me. There was one person. One person who might have done this. Not out of hate, but out of possession. Out of obsession. Anna's ex. The man she'd never told me much about. The man she'd been with after me. The man who thought Ivy was his. I remember the exact look on Anna's face. Tight. Terrified. Frozen. Like her past had just walked through the front door and sat down on the couch. I leaned forward, my voice low. Tell me the truth. Who was he? She didn't speak right away. She stood up, walked to the kitchen, poured herself a glass of water, hands trembling the whole time. I never wanted you to find out like this, she said finally. But yeah, there was someone. After you. His name's Derek. Derek, I repeated, already hating the name. She nodded, her eyes glassy. We dated for a couple of years after Ivy was born. He knew I had a kid, but I never said who the father was. He just assumed, and I let him. You let him think he was her dad? Anna flinched. I didn't say it, but I didn't correct him either. I backed away stunned. Jesus, Anna. I was scared, she said, her voice cracking. Scared to be alone. Scared of raising her by myself. He offered stability, a house, a future, but it turned toxic. My jaw clenched. Did he hurt you? Her silence said everything. Not at first, she whispered. But over time, yeah. He got controlling, angry, started telling Ivy what to wear, what to say, when to speak. And if I pushed back, she trailed off, lifting her sleeve just slightly. A faded bruise. Months old, maybe years. I took Ivy and ran one night, she said. Drove all night to a friend's place. Changed our names on school records. Cut off everyone who might lead him to us. Couldn't breathe. You should have told me, I said. I was going to. But then I saw you again. And everything came crashing back. We stood in that kitchen, both of us holding more than we knew how to carry. Then I said what neither of us wanted to hear. If Derek made the report, it means he knows you're here. She nodded slowly. Yeah, he found us. That night I didn't leave. I slept on the couch, a baseball bat next to me, eyes fixed on the front door like it was going to explode open at any second. But nothing happened. Not that night. Not the next. Then, 3 days later, Ivy didn't come home from school. Anna called me hysterical, screaming, crying. They said she was picked up early, she sobbed. They thought it was me, but I never went there. Ethan, she's gone. I couldn't speak. My lungs collapsed, and all I saw was red. I knew exactly who had her, and I was going to get her back, no matter what it took. I didn't think, didn't hesitate, didn't breathe. I just moved. I was in my car before Anna could even hang up. She was still on the phone, sobbing, repeating Ivy's name like it would summon her back. Have you called the cops? I barked into the line. Yes, I did. But they said it hasn't been 24 hours. I slammed my hand on the steering wheel. She's 10. This isn't some teenager who ran off. They don't care, she screamed. They don't understand. He has her. I know he does. And I believed her. Because I knew guys like Derek. The kind who smile in public and snap in private. The kind who don't see people, they see property. I called everyone. Every connection I had, from my construction crew, from old college friends, from anyone who'd ever owed me a favor. Someone had to know something. Anna was unraveling. I stayed with her. We didn't sleep. We didn't eat. We waited for a call, a sign, a damn clue. Then 2 days in, her phone buzzed. Blocked number. She answered on the first ring. Anna, a voice said. Calm. Too calm. Ivy's fine, she gasped. Derek, you bastard. Where is she? I'm not here to hurt her. I'm here to save her. My blood turned to acid. She deserves a real parent, Derek continued. Not a liar. Not a woman who hides her from the world. And not some random guy pretending to be her father. That's when I grabbed the phone from Anna. You think you're a father? I snarled. You touch her, and I swear to God. She's mine, he said flatly. You think showing up 10 years later gives you a claim? You abandoned her. I didn't know about her. That's not her fault. Then bring her home. He paused, just for a beat. Then, you want her? Come get her. And the line went dead. We traced the call. One of my buddies hacked into a ping system, sketchy as hell, but I didn't care. It led us to a house. Not in the city. Not even in the next county. He'd taken her to his mother's old place. A dusty farmhouse in the woods an hour out of town. It was almost midnight when we pulled up. Anna stayed in the car. I went inside. I kicked the door in. The house was dark. Quiet. Too quiet. Then I heard her voice. Daddy. I froze. My heart stopped. Daddy, she said again. I'm in here. I followed her voice, every step like walking through a nightmare. And there she was, sitting on a twin mattress in a locked room, her face streaked with tears. I dropped to my knees. Ivy, oh my God. Baby, are you okay? She nodded fast, flinging herself into my arms. That's when I heard the click. A gun. Behind me. Step away, Derek said. I turned slowly. He was standing in the doorway, wild-eyed, pointing the barrel straight at me. You don't get to take her, he growled. You don't get to win. I'm not here to win, I said quietly. I'm here to bring my daughter home. She's mine. She's not, I said. You know she's not. His hand shook. I shielded Ivy with my body, every nerve on fire. I will end you, he spat. Then do it, I whispered. But she'll never forgive you. His hand trembled. His jaw clenched. Then, he dropped the gun, collapsed, started sobbing. I just wanted a family, he cried. I just wanted someone to stay. Ivy buried her face in my chest, and I held her, tighter than ever. We walked out into the night, and I never looked back. The cops arrived 10 minutes later, guns drawn, sirens cutting through the silence of the woods. They arrested Derek without a fight. He didn't resist, didn't speak, didn't even look at Ivy. Anna rushed to us the second we stepped out of that house. She dropped to her knees on the gravel, wrapping Ivy in her arms like she was afraid she'd vanish again. We were all crying, all shaking. But Ivy? She was silent, empty-eyed, like something inside her had been turned off. Trauma does that. Steals the light, snuffs out the fire in a child and leaves behind this hollow quiet. That night, none of us slept. Anna sat on Ivy's bed, brushing her hair for hours, whispering, humming lullabies like she used to when Ivy was a baby. I stood in the doorway watching. Useless. Broken. She looked at me once. I failed her, Anna whispered. No, I said. We did. But we're here now. We kept Ivy home from school for the next few days. She didn't want to talk. Barely ate. She stayed close to Anna. Avoided me. I understood. To her, I was the guy who promised everything would be okay, right before a man pointed a gun at us. She didn't feel safe anymore. And I couldn't blame her. But I stayed. Every day. I cooked. Fixed things. Showed up. I didn't try to win her over with gifts or grand gestures. I just showed up. And slowly, things started to shift. It was the little things. A whispered thanks when I passed her the cereal. A small smile when I told a bad joke. One morning I walked in to find her drawing again. Stick figures. A girl. A woman. A man. And above them, in shaky letters, my family. I had to leave the room before I broke down. That same day, Anna and I had a long talk on the back porch. I'm thinking about getting her into therapy, she said. She's holding everything in. I'll help pay for it, I said immediately. Whatever it takes. She looked at me, eyes soft. You're not who you used to be. I'm trying not to be. Silence settled between us. A calm one this time. Not awkward. Not heavy. I don't know where this is going, she said. Us. All of this. But Ivy needs stability now. A routine. A real father. I'm not leaving, I said. Not again. And I meant it. For the first time in my life. I knew what I was fighting for. Not love. Not redemption. Her. My daughter. But just when things seemed like they were finally healing, life had one more twist to throw at me. One I never saw coming. It started with a letter. No warning. No call. No knock at the door. Just a plain white envelope slipped through the mail slot on a rainy Thursday morning. Anna picked it up, looked at the handwriting, and froze. She handed it to me without a word. My name was on the front. Nothing else. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Typed. Cold. To Mr. Ethan Ward. You may believe you are the biological father of Ivy Harper. Recent information has come to light that calls this into question. A formal paternity test is being requested. Further instructions will follow. No signature. No return address. No mercy. My hands trembled as I read it over and over, trying to make sense of it. Anna, I said slowly. What the hell is this? She took it back. Read it once. Twice. Her face went white. I don't know, she stammered. This has to be from Derek. He's trying to mess with you. With us. My chest felt tight. Like my ribs were closing in on my lungs. You told me she was mine. She is, Anna snapped, then hesitated. I mean, I thought she was. I never. You're saying there's a chance she's not? Silence. She looked at me broken. Ethan, I swear to God, I never wanted to hurt you. I thought it was you. It has to be you. I didn't sleep with anyone else until way after we broke up. But there was that one night. Right before we ended. My vision blurred. Everything I'd rebuilt in the last few weeks started crumbling like rotten wood. You said you didn't know you were pregnant until after I left, I said, voice low, dangerous. I didn't. But I was confused. My cycle was off. I didn't track it. I thought. You thought. I backed away from her. I need to know the truth, I said. I deserve to know. Anna nodded, tears streaming. Then let's find out. We scheduled a test that day. DNA swabs. Paperwork. Cold, clinical questions that felt like scalpels cutting through my heart. They said it would take a week. 7 days. 7 eternal days. I couldn't look Ivy in the eye. I felt like a fraud. Like I'd built a world on sand and now the tide was coming in. But then, one night, a few days in, she came into the living room holding a photo. Mom said this is you, she said. When you were in college. I looked at it. Me shirtless, wearing a stupid party hat. Arms around Anna. Smiling like a kid who thought nothing could ever go wrong. Ivy sat beside me. Rested her head on my arm. You're my dad, right? God, that question. It punched me straight in the chest. I want to be, I said. More than anything. She smiled. Cool. Just like that. Like nothing else mattered. But it did. Because 2 days later, the results came in. Anna was the one who opened the envelope. She stared at it for a long time. Then looked up at me. And her face broke. I knew before she said a word. You're not the father. I couldn't breathe. Everything I thought I was, everything I thought I had. Gone. In one sentence. But here's the thing. Pain doesn't get the last word. Not this time. I didn't say anything. Didn't yell. Didn't cry. I just stood there frozen while the words echoed in my head like a death sentence. You're not the father. Anna reached out, her hand shaking. Ethan, I swear I didn't know. I thought. I stepped back. Don't. Her mouth opened. Closed. Like she wanted to fix it with words. But some wounds don't close with apologies. I walked out. Out the door. Out of that house. Out of the illusion I'd been clinging to. I didn't go far. Just sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, staring through the windshield like maybe the rain would wash the hurt off of me. But it didn't. It burned. I'd given my heart to that little girl. Called her mine. Promised her I'd never leave. Built my future around the idea that I had a daughter. And now? Now I was just some guy. Some stranger who walked into her life and lied even if I didn't know it. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't go home. I drove. 4 hours. Until the sun came up. And when it did, I parked outside that same coffee shop where I first saw Anna again. The place that changed everything. I sat there, thinking about Ivy. How she hugged me. How she looked at me. How she smiled when I showed up. And I asked myself the only question that mattered. Does biology make you a father? Or does love? I'd seen what a real father doesn't do. He doesn't steal a child. Doesn't point a gun. Doesn't abandon them in confusion and fear. Ivy deserved more than a DNA match. She deserved someone who chose her. And I already had. So I drove back. Walked up the steps like every nerve in my body wasn't screaming. Anna opened the door. She looked wrecked. Eyes swollen. Voice small. I didn't think you'd come back. I'm not here for you, I said. I'm here for Ivy. She nodded slowly. Moved aside. Ivy was in the living room, curled up with a blanket, eyes on a cartoon but not really watching it. She turned when I walked in. Her face lit up. Then dimmed when she saw my expression. Hey, she said softly. Hey, kiddo. She sat up straighter. Nervous. Like she could feel something was off. Mom said you found out something, she said. That you're not really my dad. It felt like swallowing glass. Yeah, I said. That's what the test says. She looked down. Quiet. Hurt. But do you believe it? She asked. I blinked. What? I mean, do you feel like you're my dad? I walked over. Sat beside her. Took a breath. I feel like I wasn't your dad for a long time. And I hated myself for that. But ever since I met you, it's like there's a part of me that finally woke up. A part that only you brought out. She looked up at me. Eyes wide. Fragile. So, what happens now? I didn't hesitate. Yeah? I stay. I show up. I go to school plays and help with homework and take you for ice cream and listen when you're mad and cheer when you're proud. You do that, she whispered. Every day. If you let me. She leaned into me. I want you to be my dad, she said. Even if we don't match. And just like that, she chose me too. It wasn't about blood. It was about belonging. and I belonged to her. Always would. Things started to feel normal again. Or, at least, our version of normal. Ivy and I fell into a rhythm. Game nights on Fridays. Donut runs on Sundays. Math homework disasters in between. She started calling me Dad like it had always been there. Like the word was hers to give. And I earned it. Every damn day. Anna and I kept it friendly. Co-parenting in a way that felt natural. No pressure. No promises. Just focus on Ivy. But peace never lasts long, does it? It was a Tuesday afternoon when the letter arrived. This one had a name. A signature. An official court stamp. Notice of petition to establish paternity and custody. The sender? Nathan Cole. A name I didn't recognize. Anna did. She dropped the letter like it burned. Nathan, she whispered. Oh my God. Who is he? I asked, already dreading the answer. She stared at the floor. He's Ivy's biological father. Silence. That thick, gut-sick silence that follows a nuclear bomb. I met him once, she said. At a party. We hooked up. It was stupid. I never saw him again. I didn't even know his last name until now. And now he wants custody? She nodded. Pale. Shaking. Someone must have told him about the DNA test. Maybe it got flagged through court records. I don't know. But if this is real. I grabbed the letter. Read every line. He wanted joint custody. Visitation. Legal rights. He wanted Ivy to know who her real father was. And he had every legal right to pursue it. My stomach turned. I wasn't ready for this. But more importantly, Ivy wasn't. She had just found her balance. Just learned to trust. To open up. And now this stranger wanted to step in and rewrite her entire life? No. No, not if I had anything to say about it. Anna met with a lawyer the next day. I joined her. We sat in that cold office, listening to words like petition, DNA confirmation, custodial rights, and emotional disruption. He has a case, the lawyer said, blunt as hell. Unless you can prove he's unfit or unwilling, the court may grant visitation. What about Ivy's wishes? I asked. She's 10. The court may consider her input, but ultimately they'll decide what's in her best interest. That phrase made me sick. I looked at Anna. We have to fight this. She nodded. Together. And just like that, we were in a war we never wanted. Against a man we'd never known. For a girl who didn't ask for any of this. That night, I sat on the edge of Ivy's bed. She was coloring. Quiet. Focused. I hated to break her peace. Hey, I said gently. Can we talk about something important? She looked up. Am I in trouble? No. But someone's trying to be part of your life. A man named Nathan. She blinked. Confused. Who's Nathan? I took a deep breath. He's the man who, biologically, is your dad. She stared at me. Unmoving. But I thought you were my dad. I am, I said. But now he wants to meet you. Maybe spend time with you. And I won't let that happen unless you say it's okay. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said the words that cracked me open. Will he love me like you do? I couldn't answer that. So I pulled her close and whispered. No one ever will. Courtrooms are cold. Not just the air, everything. The walls. The stairs. The way strangers talk about your life like it's a math problem. It was me and Anna on one side. Nathan Cole on the other. And Ivy caught in the middle. He looked normal. Clean cut. Expensive suit. Confident smirk. Like a man who never expected to lose. He didn't look at me at first. Didn't need to. Because to him I was a placeholder. A man warming the seat he thought he deserved. Anna gripped my hand so tight her knuckles went white. I didn't let go. When the judge came in, everything moved fast. Too fast. Statements. Paperwork. Timelines. Then they called him up. Nathan. He stood tall. Voice calm. Rehearsed. I was unaware I had a daughter until recently. As soon as I found out, I filed a petition. I have a stable income, a house, and a clean record. I want to be part of her life. I believe she deserves to know where she comes from. I wanted to punch him. But I didn't. Because I wasn't there to protect myself. I was there for Ivy. When it was my turn, I stood. Swallowed hard. Looked the judge in the eye. I may not be her biological father, I said, but I've been the one brushing her hair before bed. Helping with her homework. Talking her through nightmares. I showed up. Not because I had to, but because I chose to. My voice cracked. She calls me Dad. Because that's who I am to her. Then the judge said something that made my blood run cold. We'd like to hear from Ivy directly. Anna gasped. She's just a child, eh? She's 10, the judge said. Old enough to express how she feels. We'll keep it private. So they brought her in. My little girl. small and quiet in her navy dress, clutching the stuffed bear I gave her last Christmas. She looked scared, but brave. The judge spoke softly, gently. Ivy, do you know why you're here? She nodded. Do you understand who Nathan is? Another nod. And do you want to have a relationship with him? She looked at him, then at me, and her voice, tiny but steady, cut through the silence. I already have a dad. The judge blinked. His name is Ethan. He's been there for me. Every day. I don't need a new one. Nathan's jaw clenched. Ivy turned to the judge. I don't want to live with a stranger. I want to stay with my mom. And with my dad. My heart shattered and rebuilt itself in the same breath. That was her truth. And that truth changed everything. The judge nodded, taking notes. No verdict yet. But the room had shifted. Outside, Nathan approached us. His smile was gone. She's not yours, he said. You know that, right? I stepped closer. Calm. Unshaking. She's not yours either. Not anymore. And I meant every word. But I also knew this wasn't over. Not yet. He didn't take the loss lightly. Nathan. After Ivy spoke in court, something in him cracked. He smiled when he left the building. But it was the kind of smile a man wears when he's planning something. I felt it in my gut. And I was right. The next day, Anna got a visit from Child Services. Again. Another anonymous tip. This time? Claims of neglect. False reports of substance abuse. A neighbor reported Ivy being left home alone. It was bullshit. All of it. But it was calculated. Dirt slung just fast enough to make the system pay attention. And the system did. Anna called me sobbing. They're investigating again, Ethan. They might take her. Over lies? They don't care, she cried. They care about risk. They care about patterns. If he keeps pushing, they might grant him temporary custody just to avoid a lawsuit. I was already in the car. I didn't even knock when I got to her place. I walked straight in, found her sitting at the table, clutching Ivy's drawing like a lifeline. We need a lawyer who's not afraid of court, I said. We need to go on the offensive. She looked up. Broken. But angry. Good. I know someone, she said. Old friend from law school. She owes me a favor. 3 days later, we had a legal team. Not just one tired lawyer with folders and good intentions. No. This was a team. They dug into Nathan Cole like wolves. And what they found? Let's just say his image was about to shatter. Unpaid back taxes. A sealed complaint from an ex-girlfriend, harassment. Old DUIs hidden through legal loopholes. And best of all? He'd been caught paying a former coworker to call in fake tips to CPS. We had evidence. Receipts. A sworn affidavit. I watched his case crumble in real time. At the next hearing, his lawyer showed up alone. Nathan didn't even come. The judge didn't smile. Didn't lecture. Just spoke the verdict with steel in her voice. Petition denied. Full custody remains with the mother. Visitation rights revoked indefinitely. Case closed. It was done. Over. Anna cried. I cried. Even the damn lawyer cried. But the best part? Ivy. Running up to me outside the courthouse. Throwing her arms around my neck like it was the only place she ever belonged. You're not going anywhere, right? She whispered in my ear. Never, I said, holding her tight. Not a damn chance. We went out for milkshakes that night. No speeches. No big celebration. Just the three of us. Together. Safe. But even in that peace, I knew it. Some scars don't fade. And sometimes the hardest battles are the ones that come after the war ends. Peace is quiet. But quiet doesn't mean easy. The court battle was over. Nathan was gone. And for the first time in months, the storm had passed. But we were all still soaking wet. Ivy started asking questions. Late at night. When the world felt safe enough to whisper the things that hurt. Why did he want me if he never cared before? Why didn't Mom tell me the truth from the beginning? Why didn't you know about me sooner? And worst of all, if you're not really my dad, will you still love me when I'm not little anymore? God. That one tore me to pieces. I sat beside her on her bed, brushed her hair behind her ear, and said, There's nothing in this world you could do to make me stop. But what if I grow up and change? She asked, so small. What if I'm not who you want me to be? I don't love you because of who you are, I said. I love you because you're you. And I'm not going anywhere. She nodded, then hugged me like she believed it. But trauma doesn't vanish. It hides. It waits. Some nights she'd wake up screaming. Some days she'd snap at Anna or me or herself. One morning she refused to go to school. Said the other kids whispered about her. Said someone found out her real dad didn't want her. Anna handled it with grace. But I saw it break her heart. We sat outside the school parking lot, Ivy in the back seat, arms crossed, jaw tight. I hate everyone, she muttered. You don't, I said. But you're allowed to be mad. I want to go somewhere else. Somewhere new. Anna and I locked eyes. And we both knew she didn't mean just school. She meant everything. That night, we sat down at the kitchen table. Anna, me, and Ivy. Anna went first. There's nothing keeping us here anymore, she said gently. No court dates. No lawyers. No ghosts. I followed. What if we started fresh? New school. New place. New chapter. Ivy's eyes lit up. You mean, move? Anna nodded. Only if you want to. She bit her lip. Thought. Then smiled. Can we live near the ocean? We laughed. It was the first real laugh I'd heard from her in weeks. Yes, baby, Anna said. We'll find a place by the ocean. That weekend we packed. Left behind the house. The courthouse. The ghosts. And drove south. Towards salt in the air and sunsets that looked like fire. We found a little house with a porch. A school that didn't ask questions. A neighborhood that felt like breathing again. And for the first time in a long time, we weren't surviving. We were living. Ivy started painting. Anna started writing again. And me? I woke up every day and made pancakes. Because I could. Because I was there. Because I chose to be. And one night, just as the stars came out, Ivy ran down the porch steps, barefoot and laughing, and shouted, Dad, come see the sky. And in that moment, hearing her say it so freely, so loudly, like there was never any doubt, I knew. I'd been her father all along. Not by blood, but by love. The ocean healed us. Not all at once. Not perfectly. But with time and waves and salty air that washed away things we didn't even know we were carrying. Ivy laughed more now. Anna smiled without flinching. And I breathed like I hadn't in years. It felt like we were finally free. Until the letter came. Again. This time it wasn't typed. It wasn't cold. It was handwritten. Neat. Careful. Almost scared. Ethan. I don't deserve your time. But I need it. Please. One conversation. Derek. I read it twice. 3 times. Anna found me standing on the porch, letter in hand. He found our address, I said, voice low. Her eyes darkened. I'll call the lawyer. No, I said. Not yet. She looked at me like I was crazy. Ethan, this man kidnapped our daughter. He pointed a gun at you. What could he possibly say that matters now? I don't know, I said. But if he's reaching out, something's eating at him. And what if it's a trap, she snapped. I shook my head. I'm not afraid of him. Not anymore. It took a week to decide. But eventually, I wrote back. Just 2 words. 1 hour. We met at a public park. Middle of the day. Surrounded by people. Safe. Derek looked smaller. Not physically. Just less. Like the fire inside him had gone out and now there was nothing left but smoke. He stood when I approached. Hands in his pockets. Eyes heavy. Thanks for coming, he said. I didn't respond. Just sat on the bench. He followed. I'm not here to fight, he said quickly. I'm not trying to undo anything. Then why? He sighed. I've been going to therapy. Court-ordered, obviously. But it helped. More than I expected. I watched him. Still silent. I needed control, he said. I thought if I lost Ivy, I lost everything. But the truth is, she was never mine. Not really. He looked at me then. Eyes glassy. I see the way she looks at you. I saw it in court. That kind of love? You don't fake that. My chest tightened. I don't expect forgiveness, he said. God knows I don't deserve it. But I wanted to say it. Out loud. I was wrong. And I'm sorry. Silence. He waited. And I made him wait longer. Then finally I said, I don't forgive you. He nodded. Expected it. But I added, I believe you. That surprised him. People change, I said. Some faster than others. Some too late. But if you're doing the work, keep doing it. He swallowed hard. Thank you. We stood. He reached for a handshake. I hesitated. Then took it. Quick. Firm. Final. As I walked away, I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel hate. I felt relief. Some ghosts don't need to be fought. Just buried. And I was finally ready to let this one go. When I got home, Ivy was on the porch, painting the sky again. I kissed the top of her head. What color do you want the sunset to be today, Dad? She asked. I smiled. Surprise me. She grinned and dipped her brush in gold. Time doesn't wait. Not for healing. Not for love. Not even for the family you fought to build. Before I knew it, Ivy was turning 11. Double digits didn't feel so little anymore. She was taller. Louder. Smarter than I ever expected. And asking questions that didn't have simple answers. That summer, we threw her a beach birthday party. Just the 3 of us. Sandcastles, melted cake, and a playlist she made herself. She ran circles around us in a swimsuit covered in glitter sharks, yelling about girl power and doing cartwheels on wet sand. She looked free, more herself than I'd ever seen her. After the sun dipped low and the tide rolled in, she pulled me aside. "Can I ask you something?" she said, real serious. "Anything. If I ever want to meet Nathan someday, would you be mad?" I froze. Not because I didn't see it coming, but because hearing her say it out loud made it real. "I don't want him to be my dad or anything," she added quickly. I want to know where I come from. Like the other part." I knelt beside her in the sand. "Ivy," I said, "I'll never be mad at you for wanting the truth. You deserve to know everything. And if someday that's what you need, I'll stand right next to you." She hugged me tight and whispered, "I wish every kid had a dad like you." I choked back tears. Didn't let her see. Because strength isn't always holding it together. Sometimes it's letting go. That night, Anna and I sat on the porch sipping wine while Ivy snored in her room, curled up like a cat. "She's growing up fast," Anna said. "Too fast." Then she looked at me. Really looked. "You've been more than a father to her. You gave her roots. Safety. Belonging." I nodded. "She saved me too." Silence stretched between us like a question neither of us wanted to ask. "But then she did. Have you ever thought about being a dad again?" I blinked. "You mean with you?" She laughed, shaking her head. "Not me. Just, in general. Another kid. Whether it's through adoption or whatever." I hadn't. Not really. But the question sank deep. Because I'd built my identity around Ivy. Around earning her trust. And now? Now that the dust had settled, what came next? I didn't answer that night. But the thought stuck. A few weeks later, I found myself standing outside a foster agency. No appointment. No plan. Just curiosity. And something else. Hope. I stepped inside. Talked to someone. Filled out a form. Told them my story, most of it anyway. Ivy was the first person I told. She was sitting on the floor building a Lego dragon when I knelt beside her. "What if one day you had a little sister?" I asked. She tilted her head. "You mean like, we go find one?" I smiled. "Kind of." She grinned. "Can I help pick her?" We both laughed. But I knew then this wasn't just a thought. It was a beginning. And for the first time since Ivy came into my life, I realized love wasn't a one-time thing. It was a choice I could keep making. Over and over. Life felt full again. Not perfect, never perfect. But fuller than it had ever been. Ivy had blossomed in our little beach town. Made friends. Joined the school art club. Started skateboarding because of course she did. Anna was doing better too. Writing more. Smiling easier. And me? I was deep in the process. Foster classes. Home inspections. Interviews. It wasn't easy. But it was worth it. I wanted to give another kid what Ivy gave me, a reason to be better. Then, one Saturday morning, while Ivy was at a sleepover and Anna was out grocery shopping, there was a knock at the door. I opened it without thinking. And everything froze. It was her. Shorter hair now. Sunglasses. A scar on her collarbone I didn't remember. But I knew that face. Rachel. The girl I dated after Anna left me. The girl I almost proposed to. The girl who vanished one day without a trace, no goodbye, no message. The one I buried under silence and hurt. "Ethan," she said. Voice shaky. "Can I come in?" I didn't move. Couldn't. "What are you doing here?" "I wouldn't be here unless it was serious," she said, eyes filling with something heavy. Still, I hesitated. Then I stepped aside. She walked in slowly, looking around. Same couch. Same porch swing outside. Everything familiar and not. "I know I owe you a million answers," she said. "But there's something you need to know." She reached into her bag. Pulled out a folder. Set it on the table between us. I opened it. And my world tilted. Inside was a birth certificate. A photo of a little boy. A court document. And my name. I looked up at her. Stunned. "His name's Caleb," she whispered. "He's yours." My mouth went dry. I found out after I left. I didn't mean to disappear like that. I was scared. Alone. I was in a bad place and I didn't think you'd want the baby after everything that happened with us. I couldn't speak. "Caleb's 6 now," she continued. "He's sweet. He's funny. He looks just like you." "Why now?" I croaked. "Why this moment?" "Because I heard about the custody case. With Ivy. Through a mutual friend. I saw your name in the article. I realized maybe it's time. Maybe you're ready." I stared at the photo. A boy with dark hair, gap-toothed smile, dimples just like mine. My son. My brain couldn't process it. I already had a daughter I didn't know existed for 10 years. Now I had a son I'd never even met? How do I know this is real? I asked. That this isn't some kind of sick joke? She nodded. Pulled out a DNA report. 99.98%. It was real. I leaned back. Tried to breathe. What do you want from me? I asked. I want him to know you, she said. Not just from a photo. I want him to have a father. And just like that. My world shattered and reshaped itself all over again. I wasn't a one-time father. Or a two-time one. I was a man with 2 children. Both lost. Both found. Both mine. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room staring at Caleb's photo. His grin. His dimples. His eyes. My eyes. A 6-year gap. 6 birthdays I missed. First words. First steps. First everything. How many times can a man lose his child before he breaks? Anna came home late. Saw the papers. Saw my face. Ethan, she whispered, picking up the photo. Who is this? I told her everything. Her jaw clenched. Rachel. Rachel did this to you. She said she was scared, I muttered. She was selfish. Anna wasn't mad at me. She was mad for me. And God, I needed that. What are you going to do? She asked. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. The next day I met Rachel again. At a quiet diner outside of town. Neutral ground. She brought him. Caleb. Tiny. Curious. Restless. She said, Caleb, this is Ethan. He's a friend of mine. He looked at me. Blinked. Then said, you look like me. I laughed. Choked on it. Yeah, I said. I guess I do. We talked for an hour. He told me about dinosaurs. His favorite teacher. A turtle he saw once that smiled. Every word was a blade. When he left to go to the bathroom, Rachel leaned in. I want this to be right, she said. I know I messed up. But if you want to be in his life, I won't stop you. I nodded. But deep down, I was drowning. Because how do you split your love? How do you be a father to one child without making the other feel like they're suddenly half? I went home. Sat Ivy down. I want to tell you something important, I said. And I want you to ask anything you need to. She looked nervous. What is it? I took a breath. You have a brother. Her eyes widened. Wait, what? His name's Caleb. He's 6. I didn't know about him until now. Silence. Then, so, are you gonna leave? The question cut me in half. No, I said. Never. You're my daughter. That never changes. But now there's another kid, she said quietly. What if he's better? Tears hit my eyes. I dropped to my knees. There is no one better than you, I said. But I don't want to lie to you. He needs me too. She didn't say anything. She just nodded. And then whispered. Can I meet him? I froze. You'd want that. She shrugged. I mean, he's kinda my brother, right? I pulled her into my arms. Because sometimes love doesn't split. It grows. That weekend I brought them together. Ivy and Caleb. They circled each other like cats. Then bonded over gummy bears and some cartoon I didn't understand. They laughed. Drew pictures. Swapped crayons. And when Ivy whispered, you can call him Dad too, if you want, I nearly lost it. It wasn't perfect. Wasn't easy. But it was real. 2 kids. 1 messy life. And a man doing his best not to screw it up. But just when I thought the hardest part was over, Rachel dropped a final bomb. I'm moving, she said. Out of state. A job offer. I leave in 2 weeks. I stared at her. And Caleb. I want him to come, she said. But I'm giving you the choice. My throat went dry. I'll stay, she added, if you fight for custody. But if you don't, I'll go. She meant it. This wasn't a threat. It was a test. And I had days to decide. Do I take Caleb and risk breaking Ivy's world again? Or do I let him go and lose another child I just found? The house was silent. The kind of silence that presses on your chest. I sat at the kitchen table with both custody petitions in front of me, one from Rachel's lawyer, the other drafted by mine. 2 paths. 2 futures. Both would leave a scar. Anna walked in, holding a cup of tea she hadn't touched. You have to choose, don't you? She said softly. I nodded. I lose something either way. She sat across from me. Tired eyes. Strong voice. You won't lose them. Not if you're honest. Not if you keep showing up. Ivy was upstairs. Drawing something probably. Or pretending not to listen. But I knew she could feel the tension. She always could. That night I tucked her in. Kissed her forehead. Sat on the edge of the bed and took her hand. Do you want me to tell you what I decided? I asked. She nodded, eyes wide. I took a deep breath. I'm not letting Caleb go. Tears welled in her eyes. And I panicked. But I'm not going anywhere, I added fast. Neither is he. I talked to Rachel. We're going to file for shared custody. She'll stay. He'll stay. We'll figure it out. You mean we'll all be together? She asked. If that's what you want. She nodded slowly, then smiled. He can have the top bunk. I laughed through the tears. Rachel agreed. Not easily, not perfectly, but enough. Enough to stay. Enough to try. We signed the papers 2 weeks later. Filed everything. Set up a rotation, a plan, a new chapter. Caleb moved into the guest room. We painted the walls blue. Ivy insisted on adding a dinosaur mural. He loved it. They bickered like siblings. Teamed up like best friends. Called each other half-blood legends like they were in some magical universe only they understood. And me? I learned how to be 2 things at once. 2 breakfasts. 2 schools. 2 bedtime stories every night. Double the chaos. Double the love. And yeah, it was hard. Some days I felt stretched so thin I could snap. But then, I'd see Ivy take Caleb's hand in the parking lot. Or Caleb ask if he could draw a picture just like Ivy's. And I'd remember. This wasn't about DNA. It was about showing up. Again. And again. And again. Months passed. Seasons changed. One night I came home late from work. Both kids were asleep on the couch. One with a sketchbook on their chest. The other with chocolate smeared across their face. Anna looked up from her laptop, smiled. You're a good dad, she said. I didn't answer. I just watched them breathe. Watched the life we built with pieces that were never supposed to fit together. But did. Perfectly. And in that moment, I didn't feel like a man who lost 10 years. I felt like a man who gained everything worth living for. Because family? It's not what you're given. It's what you fight for. What you choose. Every damn day.